Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk about 5 things most small business owners are doing wrong. Now, these are some of the things that I see day in and day out when I'm talking with small business owners such as yourself. Now, I'm going to warn you, none of these are rocket science. But what happens is, even when we know better, we still make the same mistakes. So what I want you to do is I want you just to go through these 5 and do a health check on yourself and ask yourself if you're guilty of any of these at the moment. And if so, let's go ahead and start working on that course correction so that way we can get back on track. Now, the number one thing, I'm going to start with customers. Number one, trying to serve everyone. When you try to serve everyone, you end up serving no one. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have any business. Absolutely. Because occasionally a blind squirrel finds a nut and you're going to find the people that actually need your business. But when you're chasing people that aren't going to use your business, all you're doing is wasting your time and your energy and working tons of hours. And our mission is, how do we focus your energy on the right people? Now, this could be from the people that you're talking to. It could be the way that you're marketing. It could be the way that you're saying things. And it's a lot of times what it comes down to is you need to solve a pain point. So you need to be crystal clear on the pain point that you solve. When you are crystal clear on that pain point, it's really easy for you to communicate not only to your potential customers and clients, but it allows other people to help you out. So when they're talking to their family and friends and neighbors who are experiencing a pain, it's really easy for them to be able to recommend your business because you're that person. Now, I joke around all the time about some of the different ones. If you are a plumber, you don't have to do tons of different plumbing. You could become the water heater king. And the more you say that over and over, and that's how you talk about your business, that this is what you focus on, every time someone has a water heater problem, they're going to think of the water heater king. You know what? If you are a landscaper, we all know there are a dime a dozen. There's a lot of landscapers. How do you stand out? Maybe the pain point that you solve is you help make sure that people's yards are HOA ready, that you help take the HOA off of their back, whatever you want to call it. So now when a homeowner has an HOA on their back about their yard, guess what? You're the one that comes highly recommended because you know how to swoop in and get those yards looking exactly the way the HOA needs them to be. Same thing with your marketing. I've said this one. If you are putting up garage doors or you're fixing garage doors, do not focus your energy on communities with carports. They don't have garages. So why are you advertising in those neighborhoods? You're going to want to focus on homes that were built in the 2000s and above. You're not going to go advertising in those markets in the 50s, 60s, and 70s where they typically do not have garages. Now, don't get me wrong. They do. Some of the houses do have garages, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. And that's what we want to try to focus on. Think of a target. When you are doing archery or shooting and you're going for the target, you go for dead center. Now, when you're looking at a target, you have the outer rings. The outer rings might be these rare birds that have a garage door, for example, in a sea of non-garage doors. But when you're firing or when you're shooting or when you're doing the arrow, which darts, whatever it is that you're looking at, when you're looking at a target, you aim for the center. Now, you don't always hit the center, but sometimes you'll hit those outer rings. But here's the problem. If you only aim for the target itself in general, you're going to miss a lot. You're going to fire arrows all over the place because you're not really focused on one particular thing. You're just trying to find people that'll use your business, which means you're going to miss a lot. Whereas if you focus on that ideal customer and you shoot for the center, yes, you're going to pick up other people who use your business, but your focus is so targeted that you don't have a lot of misses. And that's what we want to try to avoid. So ask yourself, are you trying to serve everyone versus really dialing in on who you want to serve? Number 2, focused on the competition versus competing with themselves. Listen, I want you to be competitive. I absolutely do. I am a healthy believer in competition. I am too competitive for my own good. But one lesson I learned a long time ago is I need to be more competitive with myself versus my competition. And I want to challenge you to do the exact same thing. Because when you're focused on what your competition is doing, you're not focused on what you should be doing. And who's saying your competition is doing it right anyways? Yes, they might have tons of customers, but if they're not making any money and they're not profitable, why are you chasing them? All right, you need to use your competition for ideas. You need to look at them for the things that they're putting into the marketplace, what they're selling, how you can be better. So your competition can give you a good dose of what you can do better at, because maybe they are better at communicating. Maybe they are better at customer service. Maybe they are better at pricing. Oh, don't even get me started on competition and pricing. We're going to talk about pricing here in a minute. But what I find sometimes is someone is so focused on what someone's pricing is, they often focus on the lower end of the pricing versus finding out why some other people can charge more. I'd rather you focus on why your competition can charge more than you can versus the competition that you're so worried about that keeps undercutting you. That's not you. You don't want to be the lowest price. Be competitive with yourself, people. You need to make sure that you are better tomorrow than you are today. You need to use your competition in a healthy way for you to find ways to make your business better and ways for you to be able to steal the things that they do really, really well and to avoid the things that they do very, very poorly. But don't get hung up on that your competition is doing better than you. I promise you, if a competition is doing better than you, they put in the work, and you need to put in the work as well. Stop focusing on the wrong competition. You need to be competitive with yourself and less competitive with your competition. And now that I think about it, I probably should do an episode just on this alone. All right, number 3, working harder and harder, longer and longer hours, and not being focused on processes. Now, let me break this one down for a second. The mistake is actually not being focused on improving your processes. What happens is we want to grow the business, so we take on more and more customers, but we never pause and say, before I take on more customers, how can I streamline the business? How can I do things faster? How can I do things better? Before you go doubling your business, you better stop and figure out, how are you going to make sure that you're not running all over town? How are you going to get better at your scheduling? How are you going to make sure that you group people together so this way you minimize the time you have to spend in the vehicle going from job to job? How are you going to get better at responding and getting back to your customers? There's so many little processes that go into our day. But what happens is we take on more business and we fail to fix these processes, which means now we're working longer and longer hours because we took on all those customers, where the reality is if you would have fixed and focused on the processes, then you would have picked up time to take on more customers without having to work a ton more hours. Hopefully that is making some sense. Once again, I could spend an entire episode on processes, and I'll make a note of that, but I want to make sure that before you go out chasing more customers, make sure you are constantly refining your processes in your business, because it's going to allow you to make more money, because a lot of times when we fix processes, we gain more profits because our broken processes are costing us profit. Number 4 mistake I see all the time, and that is not adjusting your prices each year. You already know that I do not want you to be the cheapest out there. I do not want you following the competition and spiraling down to be the cheapest at what it is that you do. The problem is many small business owners fail to adjust their prices as they get better at what they do. Remember, people will pay for value. So I understand that when you first start the business, you're not the highest paid person for what it is that you do. But as you get better at your business and as your processes improve and as your customer service gets better and as your quality of your install or the product gets better, you should be increasing your prices. You need to make sure that you're keeping up with the value that you provide and the market and what people are willing to pay. As you start to build a brand out there for quality and for service, you can charge more. Some people will argue that you can adjust your prices every 6 months. I recommend that you at minimum look at your prices every single September and October and ask yourself, should my prices adjust? And that could be just $5 here and there, 50 cents if you sell products. Every little dime adds more to the profits, because the other time you need to look at your prices is when your costs go up. One of the things that have happened in the past couple of years after COVID and during COVID is that costs have gone up, yet so many small business owners have never raised their prices to offset those costs, which means that it's going to impact the profits, because your profits are your sales minus your cost of goods minus your expenses. And if those are going up, your profits have to go down in order to do that. Therefore, you really should be adjusting your prices. You don't necessarily need to wait to the end of the year. And one of the things that I say when we're looking at the end of the year is if you know you're going to adjust your prices in October, you just let your current customers know that the prices will be going up at the beginning of the year. That's perfect for those of you that have reoccurring monthly business, is giving them enough time to be able to do it. And you can even run some specials where they can lock in 3 months of the new year at the old price if they prepay it. Another way to get some money. But the mistake is not adjusting your prices each year. You absolutely need to be looking at your prices and adjusting them. Doesn't have to be a lot. Even just a little bit adds to the profitability of the business. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't be jacking up your prices if you're doing poor customer service, the quality sucks, you're not getting back to people. This is why I put processes first, because you need to make sure that you're continually improving your processes, so this way your customers know they're getting a great value for the money that you are charging. All right, number 5. You didn't think you were going to get out of an episode where I didn't talk about your business numbers, did you? Of course not. The number 5 mistake, and I'll probably say it's also one of the top mistakes that small business owners make, is they do not review their business numbers on a weekly or monthly basis. You need to be reviewing your profit and loss statement and your balance sheet. You need to be looking at the numbers of your business every single month when your books are closed out. You need to understand the money that has come into your business and where did it go, through your cost of goods, through your expenses, all the way down to your profit. You need to dive in and look for trends and what you did right and what you did wrong. You need to compare it versus the following year. You need to make sure that you're looking at the next month and what sales did you do last year for the same month, because you need to beat those sales. You need to be looking at your business numbers on a regular basis. Business owners that look at their business numbers on a regular basis make way more money. I'm not saying you can't make money not looking at your business numbers, but you can't make as much money as you could possibly make without looking at your business numbers. For most people, they start making 50% to 100% more money just by looking at their business numbers, because now all of a sudden they're paying attention to it. Your business numbers are the key to you creating more profit in your business. Remember, you signed up to be a business owner. You did not sign up to be a whatever it is that you do. That's an employee. Business owners understand their business numbers. The reason CEOs get paid millions and millions of dollars is because they have to be so in tune to the business numbers of that company. And that's what they're getting paid for, is to do deep dives and understand that stuff and make the small tweaks necessary for the business to become more profitable. If the business is not becoming more profitable, the CEO gets ousted, because ultimately every business exists to make profit, and that includes your own. It is important that you remember that your business will improve in the coming year based off of the decisions that you're making today. Whether you choose to do something or you choose not to do something, it will impact the business tomorrow. And I know for most of you, you have a vision of where you would like your business to be in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years. All I'm asking you is to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you taking the steps today that are necessary in order for your business to hit its goals tomorrow? And I don't care if they're only baby steps, because even baby steps are going to get you one step closer to where you want to be. So once again, the 5 things I want you to make sure that you're taking a closer look at in your business is 1, trying to serve the right customer. Stop trying to serve everyone. 2, focus on you. Be more competitive with yourself than your competition. Use your competition to help you get stronger, but do not put all your energy into why they're better than you or why people use them or why. If you look at them at all, it needs to be from this mindset of how can they improve me because I'm competitive with myself. Number 3, stop working longer, harder hours and start focusing on processes. And I know what you're going to say, Tammy, I don't have the time. Yeah, I know you don't have the time. You're working 50 million hours because you never fixed your processes. The only way to do it is to get off the crazy train, fix the processes, and you'll get the hours back. So yeah, you may have to work a few more hours in the beginning to start the processes. Focus on the one that's going to give you back the most time, and I promise you, it'll start paying for itself. Number 4, not adjusting your prices every single year. You need to look at your pricing. Matter of fact, you should do that in the next couple of weeks. Dive into your prices and ask yourself, can they go up even just a little bit? Go ahead and get those puppies raised. Start bringing a little bit more profit. especially if you have experienced cost changes that have gone up that have really hurt your profitability. And finally, number 5, start looking at those business numbers. You need to know what you did last year for next week so that you know what goal is that you have to beat. You need to know what your goal is next month based off of what you did last year. What do you do every single April? Stack them on top of each other so that you have a plan for this coming April. You need to make sure that you're looking at that profit and loss statement and seeing where the money is being spent in your business. And you need to ask yourself that if you're only making 15% bottom line, how can you make 20%? What needs to change in your business in order for you to start making more money? Now, I would go on and on, but you probably noticed I still have this silly head cold, and I want to thank everybody that reached out to wish me feeling better. I feel better, I sound worse, I don't know. I appreciate all of the well wishes. Now get out there and go focus on at least one of these 5 things and improve your business's bottom line. And I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell, it's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.